This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Caught on camera, prowlers and gunfire in one of St. Louis's most popular neighborhoods. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. The Hill, it's a well-known area in the city of St. Louis. It's a welcoming place, but for the last few nights, intruders have crept in. Our Justina Cornell joins us live from the neighborhood tonight. Justina?
Yeah, Mike and Ann. So the alderman tells me they've seen suspects come to the neighborhood walking up and down the streets and pulling on car door handles. He believes this has been happening the last several nights. At the center of the community on the Hill Tuesday morning, church bells ring at St. Ambrose Parish. And in front of it, splashes of water at the Piazza Emo fountain represent the calmness. It's not all peace and quiet, though, in this sacred space. Just a few feet away on Wilson Avenue, Alderman Joe Vollmer said suspects disrupted this neighborhood.
There have been reports the past few days of groups being dropped off and going up and down, flipping car handles.
Many homeowners here rely on doorbell cameras for security. We've obtained this video from one resident on the 5200 block of Wilson. Police confirmed this happened shortly after midnight Tuesday morning, saying two people in dark clothing got out of a car and looked into other vehicles with flashlights. In the video, it shows the suspects running away, and at the end, one person fired their gun.
The most troublesome thing about this is they're leaving cash in the car. They're opening glove boxes and consoles looking for guns. It's a very specific thing.
We tried to speak to several residents, many shying away from the camera, but some said they felt safe in this neighborhood. One woman even told me a few nights ago she yelled at the culprits, shooing them away, threatening to call police. The suspects fled. One safety expert suggests safer options.
I think if they see anything like this, they should call 911 immediately and never approach anybody that's got a gun in their hand. If there's 2 or 3 people pulling on car doors or pulling on your door, I mean, it's not a good idea to go out and confront them because most of these younger kids now are all armed.
Vollmer believes the passion of neighbors who've become their own watchdogs is a way to deter crime, to keep the peace.
I know how the police are undermanned, but we try to help them out the best we can. That's why we're so vigilant, in this part of the town.
Now, the safety expert says having these Ring cameras are extremely helpful. It could be a way to hand it over to police as evidence so they can arrest these suspects. Reporting live, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Right now, the city's animal shelter in Midtown is struggling. Leaders say they need more space and resources and believe an old jail in North St. Louis would help solve those problems. Travis Cummings visited Care STL on Walnut Place to see those conditions, and he's live from there now to give us a look. Travis.
Hey Mike, you can just hear these animals going wild in here. Listen, the administrators here at Care STL met with the Board of Aldermen last night. They didn't get an official answer, but there's still some promise there. The goal here is to really give these animals that they take in the best care possible, and they say in order to do that, they're going to need the city's support. Inside the walls at Care STL Adoption Center in Midtown St. Louis, cries of excitement and anxiety.
We're overcapacitated.
St. Louis's go-to animal care center is strapped for space, making it hard to care for strays and surrendered pets.
Our ACOs are bringing in animals. We are adopting animals, but it's really a hard balance.
Vice President and former Alderwoman Dion Flowers Baker says staffing levels are low.
Keep getting grabbed by people, to be honest.
They're working with $950,000 from the city. They say $1.6 million would help them more.
In order for us to be able to pay that staff, to have us up to where we need to be so that our staff aren't stressed, so the animals can get cleaned and get out if they could once or twice a day.
That anxiety from the animals is what concerns Medical Director Carrie Morgan most.
Stress is really, really bad for the immune system, so they are really prone to getting all sorts of diseases.
Morgan's also worried about the paws and claws scratching on the kennels.
And I don't know if they're, able to heal as fast as they normally would if it wasn't for overcrowding.
Care STL has a place in mind for expansion, an empty jail facility in North St. Louis, once commonly known as the workhouse.
The noise level would be better, not only for the animals, but for our staff. There's so much grounds that we can use for them to get out, run around, and have enrichment.
They want this environment to be healthy for the animals while they're here, so they can be happy when they get to their forever home.
It just would give us what we need to really be able to develop.
All right, and of course I found me a little friend here. Now listen, Mayor Tashara Jones's office, they did provide comments saying that they addressed this in the State of the City address, and the mayor really wants to look at forward thinking and the proper use for this workhouse facility going forward. So they didn't address what they would need for this facility in particular, but they said that they are open to public input. Now, Care STL is looking for people to adopt these beautiful animals like this one right here, as well as work and take care of the animals. And you can check all of that out on our website. It's attached to the store on KSDK.com, and you can see it in the As Seen on TV section. We're live in Midtown. Travis Cummings 5 on your side.
He has a new friend.
I don't think he's going home alone tonight.
What a cute dog.
The Missouri NAACP is warning travelers about racial disparities in traffic stops.
The group reissued a travel advisory and is calling on elected officials to take action to reverse the decades-long trend. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, has a closer look at the numbers. Mark?
Mike and Ann, census data shows the black population makes up just about 1 in 10 people in Missouri. The Attorney General's office broke down the numbers by racial demographics to determine the stop rate on Missouri roads and found white drivers have a stop rate of 24%, while black drivers have a 42% stop rate. The Missouri NAACP issued a renewed travel advisory for the state of Missouri.
I mean, why would you invite someone into a place where they're not safe?
This travel advisory has been in place since the Greitens administration, when the state weakened civil protections against racial discrimination in the workplace. A more recent travel advisory caught national attention in Florida, where the NAACP said Governor Ron DeSantis was leading a state that was, quote, openly hostile toward African Americans. Will you travel to a state like Florida where there's a travel advisory?
I won't go there for any sort of vacation.
The newly reissued travel advisory in Missouri points to updated traffic stop data that shows black drivers are far more likely to be pulled over.
If you're coming to the state of Missouri, you have to be ready to suffer interactions with police departments or law enforcement that you don't want.
Missouri NAACP President Nimrod Chappell called on Republican leaders to reflect on the troubling trend lines and do something about it.
How do we get the state leaders, such as the governor, such as the attorney general, the people who actually have power to evaluate these issues on a deeper level, to go into action instead of sticking with status quo that for the last 23 years allows black people to be pulled over more than anybody else?
There's a lot to go through in this report. We're just getting our first look at it. It includes nearly 4,000 pages of detailed traffic stop data from every police department in the state that participated. Some of those departments in their report claim their officers aren't really engaging in racial profiling, but their cities just happen to see a higher volume of black drivers passing through.
A Jefferson County man is recovering tonight after a garage collapsed on top of him. It happened around 10 this morning on Rubble Lane in Cedar Hill. Firefighters say a house on the property had already been demolished and the man was tearing down the garage. It came crashing down, trapping him under the debris. He had his phone in his pocket, luckily, and he was able to call 911.
He gave us a very accurate description of where he was at, which saved us a lot of time because we did not have to search for him at all. He was right where he said he was, and luckily he was pretty much on the edge of the building.
Firefighters used airbags and chainsaws to free him. They do not know the extent of his injuries, but say he was alert and talking.